All right, guys, I'm outside of a 2019 Honda Odyssey Elite, and I'm just going to walk you through some features and functions and explain. So I'm going to start you at the back here. I've already got the power tailgate open. The button to release it, I do have it off my key fob additionally too. So moving to the back, this car is a lot like the previous generations. I got the deep well down here in the bottom that I can throw my seats into. So to throw a seat into it, I can do it with one hand and lock it down in there and create the space back here, or I can leave them up. And then the same thing to throw it up, pop it up, pull it back, you're good to go, right? So nothing to it as far as that goes. I do have a power outlet back here with some storage space. And then over here, the elusive Honda vacuum. So you can see what's going on. I got my hoses and everything there. And then down here, I've got the actual vacuum in case I need to pull it out, empty it out, that sort of thing. So that's what's going on back here. All right, so as far as the third row, I'll just kind of show you back in here. I do have some placement as far as plugging in. I do have some air vents back here. I do have a power outlet back here. You do actually have sunshades in this third row, so you can see the sunshade is actually set up on this one. So that's kind of nice, and then you do have them in the second row additionally too. So let's move into that second row and look at some things. All right, so moving down the side, I will point this out. You do have a 19-inch wheel on this car. So the Touring, I want to say in the Elite, come with a 1-inch larger wheel. So just keep that in mind, that is something that exists. So let's open this door for us here. All right, moving into the second row. Okay, so the second row is completely removable and it's on a rail system. So this is going to be indicative of all my my Odysseys. And you can see the handle right here is what I would use to slide it over and back. So I've got my center in there right now, so I don't have the sliding ability, but you can see how it works, right? And then when I release it, it locks into place. So that's how that works. Now, so I mentioned that all these are removable. You can see that actually, this is something somebody pointed out to me. My seat belts are built into the seat, so they're not coming across here where people are, when they're climbing in and out, they're not climbing around this stuff. So it makes life a little bit easier as far as that goes. As far as throwing them up, I've got a handle right here to do so, and then you could climb into the back. Now, another thing I will remind you is this entire third row is adjustable too. So I can adjust from the bottom of the rail. So if I have somebody bigger sitting back there, I can. So I have the bar underneath, much like any seat from I don't know how many cars, how many years ago we've been doing this. Now moving into this second row, it does have sunshades also. So I can pull up and I can block some sun. See if I can do this with one hand. There you go. So if I need to create some shade for my kiddos, I can. Now, additionally, you do have the AC controls back here. It's a tri-zone climate control, so I can control left, right, and back separate of each other. So that's kind of standard. It's been around for a while. I do have my head unit right here that a plethora of things will pop up on, and I'll throw it on up here in a second. And then you can see this is actually cabin watch up here. So this is the camera it uses. That's infrared, where I can view people during the day, during the night, if they're doing stuff to keep an eye on the kiddos in the back or whatever, dog stuff sliding around, that kind of thing. All right. So I do have air vents, and then you can see my controls for my my sliding doors are right there additionally too. All right, so let's move into this first row. So I'm gonna start you on the left side of the door. First off though, I'll point out though that it does have a powered, as far as seat goes, it's a 10-way powered. So you got your front, your back, your up, your down, you're adjusting the back, and then your, excuse me, and then you have your controls for your lower lumbar support. Now moving on to the door, you've got your your window controls right here, your window locks, your door locks, your mirror controls. Something I will point out with mirror controls, so if I have this all the way left or all the way right, so I'm gonna turn it all the way left right now, and I throw the car in reverse, watch my mirror, it's gonna aim it down for me and help me out as far as seeing who's behind me. This car does come with parking sensors, so you can see it immediately threw down the beeps to let me know, hey, you are right up on another Odyssey. So I got that going on. You can hear the audible alert too. So that's what's going on from here. Now to point out some other things on this, I do have 3 different views on this backup camera. So if I was looking straight down, I can see exactly how close I am. This dotted line is where my hatch is gonna open to. It's about 2.5, 3 feet from my car. So this is pretty close to me right now. And then I do have cross-traffic monitoring that I can turn on and off. So if somebody's coming from my left and right, it'll alert me to that. So that's just what's going on from here. Right, so we know what's going on there. Okay, so let's jump off of that. Moving over to the dash here. So I've got my lock controls for the sliding doors, and then my sliding door control, so I control everything right up for here in the front seat. To open my power tailgate in the back. Road departure mitigation, so that you can tell it's on with the LED light. What that is if I start to veer off the side of the road, it'll first alert me audibly, and then it'll shake the steering wheel. My parking sensors, which you just heard going on and off, I can turn those on and off too. Collision mitigated braking system, so if I'm approaching the secondary car from the rear and it's looking like I'm gonna rear end them, first the car will alert me, and then it can actually apply the brakes for me to prevent the accident. And then vehicle stability assist works with your traction control to prevent skids. So if I start to go into a skid, it'll transfer power to whichever wheel's getting better traction to help correct that skid. Moving up onto the steering wheel. So I'm gonna start you on the left side over here. So you can see my volume controls are right here as far as my audio. And then I can jump between menus and different things right here, and jump in between tracks with my left and right arrows, and then if I need to select via the menu. So the menu button is going to come into play when I'm using this home button. When I hit this home button, it's going to pop up some screens. And this is where I can toggle through some different things, right? So if I wanted to see my Bluetooth, if I wanted to get my next turn-by-turn direction right here in the screen, I could get that. Whatever I'm listening to currently, so audio is not even on right now, and I can just toggle through some different screens and select something. If I want my oil life or tire pressure, I can get that additionally here too, and it'll alert me to which tire has which pressure. So I'm using this home button to get to that menu, and then you toggle through, so you can see me toggling, and then to select right here, right? My Bluetooth control, so to answer a phone call, to hang up a phone call, and use voice command. The voice command button also works for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and I'll go over that here in just a second. Moving over to the right side of the steering wheel is going to be some of my my cruise control, and then of course some of my safety settings as far as assisted driving features. So the first thing I'll point out is going to be Lane Keep Assist. So first you want to make sure the main button is on, and if it is, you'll see ACC and LKS up there, so that's what's flashing at me right now, right? So Lane Keep Assist is this button right here. What it does is if I have this on from 45 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour, when it is on, you'll see this, and that'll fill in solid. When those lines are filled in solid, it means the camera is now reading the road. That camera is right up in this box right here. Now how this works is it's going to help prevent me from drifting in and out of my lane. So if I start to drift, it's just going to pull the wheel just slightly to the left or right and try to help keep me centered. You can easily overpower it if you want. It's just there to help prevent things. So it's not, hey, it's in a self-driving car, but it is headed down that road as far as helping protect you from things like this. So that's how Lane Keep Assist works. Now my adaptive cruise control, once I get to the speed I want to set, I would press the set button, and then from there I can select the distance between me and the car in front of me. Now when I hit this button, you're going to see boxes appear. The more boxes, the more space it's going to keep between me and the car in front of me, so it's essentially car links, right? So that's how this works. And you'd see an icon of a car in front of those boxes, meaning it's now reading the road and seeing the car. Now what it's using to do so is that same camera up here, and then it's also using radar down in the center of the grill to bounce it off the car in front of me. So that's how this works. And then you'll notice this does have the option for a heated steering wheel that I can turn it on and off with an LED right there, okay? So this car does have paddle shifters. So if you're a minivan maniac and you want to drive and control the car a little bit more, you have that option available to you. Over here, I do have auto on-off headlights that I can set, and then I do have fog light controls I can set additionally too. So off with the hash, on with the hash, right? So that's how to do that. Moving over to the other side, my windshield wiper controls right here. So to pull it down, I'll set the front, and then to do the back, I would do it from here. So that's how this works. Moving over. So let's go into this center console area and explain a couple things. So right now I'm set up with the home button right here that you can see, or I should say home screen. And this will give me a couple different options of things I can look at. So the first one would be navigation. So navigation set up Garmin, you saw it pull up so I can move stuff around, I can pinch, I can pull, that sort of thing. So that's how this works from there. From here, I have it set up with a 3D view as far as the mapping system goes right now. So there's just some different things that I can do. So initially this home screen, you'll see where to go. I can use voice command to do this also. And I can adjust what you see down here in the screen. So there's some different options and things you can jump around and affect here. You can see I have some quick edits and jumps to different things. So that's how this works, right? So just so you know what's going on. So you can see, right? So if I wanted to set up some coordinates, select my coordinates and then go, I could have done that too. So pretty easy to use. This is pretty simple to work through. It doesn't require a lot of reading to understand this system. So that's how that works. Now moving over to phone, this would be my Bluetooth controls. If I need to connect up my first phone, I can just touch that button. It'll walk me through the prompts. If I need to add a secondary phone, I would go to settings, and then I want connections. From here, I would want Bluetooth, and then I want to connect a new device. From here to prompt me through, you want to make sure your Bluetooth is on, and then the two can search for each other. So this is how to do it, right? So nothing to it. Now rear entertainment controls, this is going to give me access and control over that. So I'm going to touch this. Rear passenger can continue to control it. And then I would have some controls over here as far as powering it on, powering it off, cabin talk, and some different features as far as using the remote. So I can turn the remote off that way. If the kiddos are arguing over stuff in the back, I don't have to worry about that issue. So that's how that works. And then cabin talk just allows me to talk over the speakers and over the headphones if they have the wireless headphones on. So that way if I needed to, I could go over the speakers or the headphones and be like, hey guys, where do you want to stop at, kind of thing. And then we could go from there. So that's how this works. So it's on, it's off, and then you just select which one you want or both. So that's how that works. So now you've seen how cabin talk works. All right, so let's move out of that screen. Your settings, just some quick stuff I'll breeze through here. Under vehicle, there's gonna be some different things that you might wanna access as far as your keyless access setup, door lock setup, and things like that. So door setup, this is where I could set my auto door locks. Right now, when I hit 10 miles an hour, it'll automatically lock those. When I'm getting out of the car, when I open the driver's side door, it'll then unlock the remaining doors of the car. So if you wanted to change those, that's where they would be from. So it's just some things to keep in mind there. One other one I would say that you might wanna look at, let me go back one screen, would be keyless. I believe it's under keyless access setup. Yeah, walkaway auto lock. This feature is currently turned off. If you turn it on, what it is once you get outside of 10 feet from your car, it can automatically lock the doors for you, assuming the key is in your hand or in your pocket. So this is like for the person who gets halfway into the grocery store and realizes, crap, I don't know if I locked the door. If that's you, this feature is for you. So that's how that works. All right, so FM, pretty self-explanatory. It's standard just like anything else. My volume controls, I can jump around when I find a station that I want. Obviously, let me jump back out of that. I don't know what I just hit. I do have some HD stations here, so just keep that in mind. With HD stations, sometimes you're going to have multiple setups for different stations that are listed under the single one, because that's the purpose of it. So you can see HD channels, I can select that, and then it would give me an option of how many I have to choose from as far as that particular station. Let me turn that off. Bluetooth audio controls, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This gives me access to music, maps, messages, and some more. If you're worried about navigation and want to go through the car as opposed to using the Garmin navigation built in, Android users have access to Google Maps and Waze. Apple users have access to Apple Maps right now. And then you have access to Spotify, Pandora, iHeart Media, a lot of different things in there. All right, tripometer information. If I want to get to that, I can show it right here as opposed to over there. So that's just what you're seeing from there. Let's move over a screen again. It'll read my text messages aloud to me. I've got 90 days of satellite radio. I do have USBs that I can plug into as far as, excuse me, accessing audio if I wanted to plug in like a USB drive. That's the one on the right with the phone right there is the one I would want to connect up to for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So keep in mind, it does have to be plugged into the USB. I don't know if I mentioned that. And then I do have the 9mm auxiliary jack if I want to plug in and listen to music there. And that's what you would be seeing right here. Social playlist is pretty cool. It actually allows multiple people to add songs to a playlist together, and that way we don't have to listen to Dad's crappy music. We can combine everyone's music, and that way we can listen to all the people's crappy music, right? No, I'm just kidding. But that's what this feature is. It's just kind of nice in that sense. So that's how this works. So I'm gonna move a third screen over. So Cabin Watch is what I mentioned earlier with that camera I pointed out, where it'll give me an infrared where I can see even during the day and at night. And then if I needed to talk to people, I have Cabin Talk right there to jump over to. So really cool feature as far as keeping an eye on the kiddos in the back. The car does have a hotspot. It comes with 90 days, and then afterwards it'd be up to you if you want to continue it. I want to say it's $8 a month. It's $7.99 through AT&T. So to turn it on, I would just press the power button and then go from there. So that's how this works. Moving back over to those two screens, I can store music to the car, accessing just the clock screensaver right there. Cabin Talk you already saw, and then Honda Link allows me to access maintenance reminders, recall notices, and depending on if you want to pay for the subscription, you can get things like being able to send the location of your car to people, being able to mark the location via GPS, so some different things you can do with your car. It's pretty cool, some things you've added, especially for this particular vehicle, the Odyssey in general. So while I'm showing you all these and you're seeing me jump around, there's a lot of different things. If you don't think you're going to use some of them and you want to move them around, it's as easy as holding stuff and then moving it around. So if I want to move stuff, I can move this over here, I could pull this over here because I use this more, and then save it all right there, and I can adjust these quick settings up here too. So easy to use this screen. Moving down, I do have a tri-zone climate control. This has been the same for a long time. My sync button controls everything off of here, so if it's synced up, anytime I change, all of them change together. If I unsync it, you can see I can change mine, leave the rest what they are. The only thing that's constant is gonna be the fan speed, right? So that's how this works. Whew, let me turn that back down. Today is a hot day. So front and rear climate controls if you want to jump around buttons. This does have cooled seats and it does have heated seats, and I've got 3 LEDs to show me my different settings so you can see what's going on there, blues and reds, pretty self-explanatory. My trigger's on here. This sometimes takes people getting used to. When I throw it in reverse, you'll see it light up. When I throw it into neutral, it'll light up. When I throw it into drive, it's not a standard shifter. People struggle with this sometimes. It's pretty simple to understand. It just takes a little bit of practice, right? My auto on-off start. So this is my idle stop start. I can turn this feature on and off. The catch to this is that I would have to turn it off every time I get in the car if I'm one of those people who doesn't enjoy it. And it's just set up to where when I come to a complete stop, if I'm at if I'm doing stop and go traffic, it'll turn the engine off but keep the AC and stuff on and the electronics just to save as far as gas mileage. I do have a snow function feature, and this will adjust as far as normal normal or snow as far as my shifting point settings, just to help create or keep traction, I should say. Econ button will improve gas mileage of the car. Anytime I engage it, you'll see this green leaf come on up here. How it works is it's going to shut down some of the electrical systems on the front of the car, affecting things like your AC unit, and it's going to affect as far as the acceleration on the car. But it will improve gas mileage, so keep that in mind. And then my flashers are right here. This car does have a charging station, so I've got a wireless charger set up here that I can use. And then you'll see my Blu-ray player is set up right here. And then down below, I do have 112 or 115 volt outlet. And then I do have the standard 12 volt, like cigarette lighter plug-in. And then you already saw inside of the console. All right, so this is the Honda Odyssey Elite. A couple other things up top I'll point out. Your controls as far as opening your sunroof, if you want to mess with that. And then if you want to crack it, you press directly up on it to crack it. This controls my map lights as far as when the doors open, whether they turn on or off. And then this gives me access to some other features as far as Honda Link and driver assist things if I need to get in touch with somebody in the event of an emergency. So that is the Honda Odyssey Elite. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can comment on the YouTube video. You can always call me at 512-443-4300. Or you can email me at the letter J and then Fuller, F-U-L-L-E-R, at howdyhonda.com. Thank you much.